Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. I request everyone to turn on your cameras.
Good afternoon, everyone. English Language Day is celebrated every year on April 23rd, the date when tradition says William Shakespeare was born. Shakespeare has been called the greatest writer in the English language. His plays continue to be published, performed in theatres, and seen in films almost 400 years after his death. Shakespeare was one of the most outstanding and greatest poets of all time. In his career, he wrote many plays and books which are popular to this day. Who could ever forget Romeo and Juliet, a tragedy that broke the heart of all its viewers?
His other plays like Macbeth, Othello, Hamlet, and countless more encapsulate the most beautiful stories and make the characters come to life through words. Many people consider English as the unofficial world language because it is so widely used. It became the language of what was once the most powerful nation in the world and has since become the language of commerce in countries all over the world. English Language Day celebrates this language, its history, and its oddities.
I, Adviti Reddy,
And I, Tishita Gavini, wish you all a very happy English Day. It is such a lovely afternoon as we are to grace this occasion. Without bidding much time, now I would like to invite Mr. Aditya Vikar, Secretary of Literary and Debate Club, to deliver a welcome speech.
Om Ganpataye Namah. Lord Ganesha, also known as Vignaharta, is called the Lord of Beginnings. Having remembered the destroyer of obstacles, I, Aditya Virkar, the Secretary of Literary and Debate Club, stand here to let you know what a great delight this evening is going to be. As a Vietnamese proverb says, a good beginning is half the battle. We all would definitely know the importance of that early boost. I would ask you to buckle your seats as you sit here. This event will be intriguing and interesting at the best, and exciting and encouraging at the most. Having said this, I'd like to use this platform and underline how privileged I am to be the one giving this event a boost. On behalf of the Literary and Debate Club and Department of English, I wish to convey my gratefulness to our chief guest, Honorable Director of NIT Andhra Pradesh, Professor CSP Rao, who has graced us with his presence here on this special occasion. Thank you for being an inspiration. We hope to become like you one day. I'll also welcome the Registrar in Charge, Dr. Dinesh Shankar Reddy, to the event, extending a warm welcome to Associate Deans and a special welcome to Associate Dean Student Affairs, Dr. Viresh Sir, who was a supporting stick throughout the event. Dr. Soumya Josh, the faculty advisor of L&D, members of faculty, and all the students to this celebration. I'd also extend a warm welcome to the participants. I don't think I'm eligible enough to appreciate the talent and the excellence with words of our performers today. I had goosebumps while watching them practice. The level of perfection that we are going to witness on the stage today is a result of the daily grind of the past month. I heartily thank Soumya ma'am and Lynette ma'am for their dedication and struggle to train the participants. Now I will hand back the podium back to Tishita and Adviti without bidding any more time. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Aditya, for extending a warm welcome.
Now, I shall invite Dr. Soumya Jose, Faculty Advisor of Literary and Debate Club, for the opening remarks.
Thank you, Ms. Tishita. Time is very slow for those who wait, very fast for those who are scared, very long for those who lament, very short for those who celebrate, but for those who love, time is eternal. Good afternoon. This whole program is a tribute to the Honorable Director who has recently been bestowed with Exemplary Academic Leader Award of the year 2021. The positivity and motivation that we get from the Honorable Director's charisma and matchless leadership have helped us to come up with the celebration of English Language Day and Shakespeare Day 2021, first time ever in NIT Andhra Pradesh. The enthusiasm and commitment that students show towards this event itself is a testimony of their love for English language and literature, which forms the heart and soul of the departments of English across the globe, and it is no different here at NIT Andhra Pradesh. I'm also happy to share that Literary and Debate Club has also come up with a bi-monthly podcast that covers blogs, sonnets, interviews of eminent personalities, and the prominent events of the month. I take this opportunity to once again welcome the Honorable Director, Registrar in Charge, all deans and associate deans and heads of all departments, members of faculty, staff, and dear students to this one-of-a-kind event organized by the Literary and Debate Club, mentored by the Department of English. I gratefully remember the efforts put in by my colleague, Dr. Lynette Thomas, to make this event a reality. I wholeheartedly appreciate the efforts of Mr. Aditya, the secretary of the club, Mr. Hriman, the joint secretary, and all the executive members of the club for their impeccable dedication and commitment towards the responsibilities given to them. It is nothing short of a visual treat that we have in store for everyone who has joined us online today. The entire event will be streamed live on Institute's YouTube channel for all those who love English language and Shakespeare. Sit back and immerse yourself in sheer enjoyment, witnessing the virtual extravaganza. Thank you.
Your
Thank you,
fantastic
ma'am.
mentor who is worthy of emulation. Thank you for being our guiding light. Your words of appreciation keeps us motivated. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I shall call upon Ms. Lakshmi Prasanna, the Executive Member of Literary and Debate Club, with a tale.
A very good afternoon to Honorable Director Professor C.S.P. Rao sir, respected faculty members, my beloved club members, and all the lovely participants and audience who are here to witness the event. Firstly, thank you for the time and opportunity I've been given to tell you a tale. So, let me take you to the year 1564, almost 457 years into the past. The location is Stratford upon Avon, Walksworth, England. 23rd April 1564 was a fine day in Stratford upon Avon. This was the day when a lovely couple, John Shakespeare, an alderman, and Mary Adden, daughter of an affluent landlord family, gave birth to a baby boy who was the third of 8 children, but the eldest surviving son. The baby boy has managed to find a place and survive in our hearts too. He was none other than William Shakespeare. He's still today regarded as the greatest poet and playwright of all time. He went to King's New School in Stratford, which was located 400 kilometers away from his home, from where he acquired the knowledge of Latin classics. By the time of 18 years of age, he married 26-year-old Anna Hathaway, the daughter of a farmer, and she was his senior. The Shakespeare couple was blessed with 3 children. Susan, who was baptized in May 1583, and twins Hamlet and Judith, who were baptized in February 1585. He started his career as writer, actor, and part owner of a playing company called the Lord Chamberlain men, which later changed the name to King's men. This all happened from 1589 to 1630. Contemporary references and records of performances show that several of his plays were performed on the London stage by 1592, and he became a known face in the London, only to be attacked by the playwright Robert Greene in the Grotsworth of it. He is mentioned as part of London theatre scene in 1592. The appearance of his name in the complaints bill of a law case before the Queen's Bench Court at Westminster dated Mitchum's term 1588 and 9th October 1589. It is known that years between 1585 and 1592 as Shakespeare's lost years. This was all according to scholars. Shakespeare composed most of his known works between 1589 and 1630. In the initial days of his career, he worked on genres like comedies and histories, which had a great craze. But later on, he started working on tragedies intensively till 1608. The great tragedies of all time like Othello, Hamlet, Macbeth, and Romeo and Juliet. In the final days of his career, he even collaborated with other playwriters and contributed to tragic comedies. His elaborate works, including a lot of collaborations, consist of around 39 plays, 154 sonnets, 3 long narrative poems, and a few other verses, some of the with uncertain authorship. Most of his plays got translated, studied, and interpreted into various languages and are appreciated till date because that had the soulful imbibance in them and depicted human nature and psychology gracefully. Again, on 23rd April, but 1616, at the age of 52, he took his last breath and was cremated 2 days later in the channel of Holy Trinity Church. Though the reasons for his death are unknown, it's widely believed that he passed away because of high fever, according to a book published by 2 of his friends. Remembered as one of the greatest dramatists and a highly acclaimed playwright, William Shakespeare rose to fame only after his sad death. Today, on Shakespearean Day, we've gathered here to pay tribute to the greatest well of English literature. I thank all of you for your patience. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Lakshmi. That was insightful. Everyone was eager to sink in depth of joy. Well, here we have rainbow of programs prepared. All the Shakespeare fans must have heard about the famous tale of 3 witches and how a king was made. Presenting the first act of the evening, I call upon the group to delight the audience with a play of Macbeth. The participants in the play are Manya, Harshita, Himaja, Divesh, and Suman.
Thunder and lightning crash above a Scottish moor. 3 haggard old women, 3 witches appear out of the storm. In eerie chanting tones, they make plans to meet upon again after the battle, but this time to confront him. They disappear in thin air as quickly as they appeared. A wounded officer brings down King Duncan, who is King of Scotland, news of bravery of Macbeth in the battle. He heaps praises of Macbeth. He talks in how soon after defeating the Irish rebel MacDonald, he begins fighting a massive Norwegian army. It's time for the witches to reappear. How will Macbeth react? Will he be able to digest the fact that witches exist? Let's have a look.
Where have you been, sisters?
Every fly.
And you, sister? A sailor's wife had chestnut on her lap and munched away at them. Give me one, I asked. Get away from me, witch, the fat woman cried. Her husband has sailed off to Alopo as master of ship called the Tigers. I'll sail there in a kitchen strainer, turn myself into a tailless rat and do things to him.
I will give you some wind to sail there.
How nice of you! And I will give you some more. I already have control over the wind along the port from which they blow, and every other direction on sailor's compass in which they can go. I'll I'll drain the life out of him. He won't catch a wink of sleep either during day or during the night. He will live a cursed man life. For 81 weeks he will waste away in agony. Although I can't make his ship disappear, I can still make his journey miserable. Look what I have here.
Show me, show me.
Here is the thumb of a pilot who was drowned away while trying to return home. A drum, Macbeth has come. We weird sisters hand in hand, swift travelers over the sea and land, dance around and round like so. 3 times to yours and 3 times to mine, and 3 times again to add up to 9. Enough! The charm is ready.
I have never seen a day that was so good and bad at the same time.
How far is it supposed to be to forest? What are these creatures? They are so withered looking and grisly dressed. They don't look like they belong on this planet, but I see them standing here on Earth. Are you alive? Can you answer questions? You seem to understand me because each of you has put a gruesome finger to your skinny lips. You look like women, but your beards keep me from believing that. You really are?
Speak, if you can. What kind of creature are you?
All hail, Macbeth! Hail to you, Thane of Glamis!
All hail, Macbeth. Hail to you, Thane of Cador.
All hail, Macbeth, the future king!
My dear Macbeth, why do you look so startled and afraid of these nice things they are saying? Tell me honestly, are you illusions? Or are you really what you seem to be? You have greeted my noble friend with honor and talk of a future so glorious that you have made him speechless. But you don't say anything to me? If you can see the how things will turn out. I don't want your favors, and I'm not afraid of your hatred too.
Hail!
Hail!
Hail! You are lesser than Macbeth, but also greater.
You are not as happy as Macbeth, yet much happier.
Your descendants will be kings, even though you'll not be one. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo. Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
Wait, you only told me the part I want to know. Stay and tell me more. I already know I'm the Thane of Glamis. Because I entered the position when my father, Snail, died. But how can you call me the Thane of Kuda? Thane of Kuda is still alive and he's a rich and powerful man. And for me to be the king is completely impossible. Just as impossible for me to be the Thane of Kuda. Tell me where you learn these same things. And why you stop us on this desolate place with this prophetic greetings? Speak! I command you.
The earth has bubbles just like the water, and these creatures must have come from the bubble inside the earth. Where they disappear to?
Into 10 years. The, their bodies melted like breath in the wind. I wish they had stayed.
Where these things we are talking about really here? Or are we both on drugs?
Your children will be king.
You will be the king.
And they know how to do. Isn't that what they said?
That's exactly what they said. Who's this?
The king was very happy to hear of your success, Macbeth. Whenever he hears the story of your exploits in the fight against the rebels, he becomes so amazed. It makes him speechless. He was also shocked to hear that on the same day you fought against the rebels, you also fought against the army of Norway, and you weren't the least bit of afraid of death, as you killed everyone around you. Messenger after messenger delivered your bravery to the king with praise. Is how you defended his country.
The king sent us to give you his thanks and to bring you to him. Your reward won't come from us.
As to give you a taste of what's in favor for you, he told me to call you the Thane Cawdor. The title belongs to you now.
Can the devil tell the truth?
The Thane of God is still alive. Why are you giving me his title?
The man who was the Thane of Cawdor is still alive, but he's been sentenced to death, and he deserves to die. I don't know whether he fought on Norway's side, or if he secretly aided the rebels, or if he fought with both of our enemies. But his treason, which has been proven and to which he's confessed, means he's finished.
It's just like they said. Now I'm 10 of Clamors and 10 of Cora too. And the best part of what they predicted is still to come. Thank you, gentlemen. Aren't you beginning to hope your children will be kings? After all, the witches who said I was Thane of Cora promised nothing less.
If you trust what to say, you might be on a way to becoming king as well as Thane of Cawdor. But this whole thing is strange. Dozens of will often tell us the truth about little things, but then they betray us when it will damage us the most. Gentlemen, I would like to have a word with you. Please.
So far, the witches have told me two things that came true. So it seems like it will culminate in my becoming king. Thank you for the news. This supernatural temptation doesn't seem it can be a bad thing. But it can't be good either. But if it's a bad thing, why was the promise of promotion that turns out to be true? And now I'm 10 of Cawdor, just as they said I would be. But if it's a good thing, why do I myself thinking or drinking Dukan? A thought so horrifying that it makes my hair stand on the end, my heart down inside my chest. And the danger that actually threatened me here and now. Frighten me no less than the horrible things I'm imagining. Even though it's just a fantasy so far, the mere thoughts of murder shakes me up. And it does so much that I hardly know who am I anymore. my ability to stiff by my thoughts and the speculations. And the only things that matter to me are things that don't really exist.
Look at Macbeth. He's in a daze.
If, if fate wants me to be the king, perhaps fate will just make it happen. I won't have to do anything.
Macbeth is not used to his new titles. They are like new clothes. They don't fit until you break them in over time.
One way or another, what's going to happen is going to happen.
Good Macbeth, we are.
I beg your pardon. I was expected. Fine, gentlemen, I won't forget the trouble you have taken for me whenever I think of this day. Well, let's go to the king. Think about what happened today. And when we had both time to consider things, let's talk.
Absolutely.
And until then, we have said enough.
Yeah.
Let's go, my friends. Thank you.
In the palace courtroom, King Duncan receives the information of death of Thane of Cawdor and delivers a formal thanks for his execution to Macbeth and Banquo. As time passed, encouraged by his wife, Macbeth kills the king, becomes the new king, and ends up killing more people out of paranoia. The kingdom is engulfed in a civil war which erupts to overthrow Macbeth, leading to more deaths.
Thank you. That was a really captivating performance. So now let's begin. William Shakespeare's Sonnet 15. This introduces the idea of Shakespeare immortalizing the fair youth in poetry. Now I would like to call Miss Anisha for the recitation of Sonnet 15.
When I consider everything proves holds in perfection but a little moment that is huge stage presented, not but shows, whereon the stars in secret influence comment. When I perceive the menace plans increase, cheered and checked even by the self-same sky, want in the youthful sap at height decrease, and where their brave state of memory, then the conceit of the inconstant state sets you most rich in youth before my sight, where the wasteful time to bear it with decay, to change your day of youth to solid night, and all in war with time love you, as it takes from you an engraft you new. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anisha. In the next declamation, Mark Antony shows us strong feelings about Caesar's death in his funeral oration. He has powerful emotions of grief and outrage. Mark Antony continues to feel very bitter about Caesar's death. Now, I would like to call Mr. Devesh for the declamation of Mark Antony from Julius Caesar.
So, first of all, good evening, one and all. I'm going to perform Mark Antony's speech from Julius Caesar. And my name is Devesh Feature. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I came to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil dead men do lives after them. The good is often interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus had told you Caesar was ambitious. If it was not, was a kill yourself. And previously, had Caesar answered it. Here, under the leaf of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man, So are they all honorable men command to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious. Brutus is an honorable man. He had brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransom did the general consuls fill. Was this in Caesar ambitious? When the poor have thrived, Caesar had wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet, Brutus says he was ambitious. And Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see dead on Lupercal when I thrice presented him kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet, Brutus says he was ambitious. And sure, he is an honorable man. I don't speak to disprove what Brutus had spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause then withhold you to mourn for him? Oh, judgment, oh. Heart fled to the British beast, and the men have lost their reasons. Bear with me. My heart is there in the coffin, there with Caesar. And I must pause till it come back. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Devesh. In the next declamation, Shylock is the primary antagonist in the play. The Merchant of Venice, in this speech, Shylock speaks about all those insults and mistreatments he suffered and why he has every right to revenge. Now, I would like to call Mr. Navneet for the declamation of Shylock's speech, Act 3, Scene 1, from The Merchant of Venice.
To bait fish with hard. If it will feed nothing else, it will feed my revenge. He disgraced me and hindered me $500,000. He laughed at my losses, mocked at my gains, scorned my nation, thwarted my bargains, and hated mine enemies. And what is his reason? I'm a Jew. Have not a Jew eyes? Have not a Jew hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions? Fed with the same food, hurt with the same weapons, subject to the same diseases, and healed by the same means. Heated and cooled by the same summer and winter as a Christian is. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, do we not revenge? If we are like you in the rest, we will resemble you in that. If a Jew wrong a Christian, what is his humility? Revenge. And if a Christian wrong a Jew, what should his sufferance be by the Christian example? Why? Revenge. The villainy you teach me, I will execute. And it will go hard, but I will better the instruction. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Navneet. The Tragedy of Julius Caesar is a historical play written by William Shakespeare. Now, let's welcome the team of Julius Caesar to enact the play.
Julius Caesar, a great Roman general, was stabbed in the back by his friends, quite literally, as jealous conspirators convinced Caesar's friend Brutus to join their assassination plot against Caesar. To stop Caesar from gaining too much power, Brutus and the conspirators kill him on the Ides of March. Brutus and his accomplices persuaded people to believe that they committed the heinous crime of murder for the greater good of Rome. Mark Antony, however, uses a speech to make people realize that good Caesar did for Rome. He turns people against the people who murdered King Julius in cold blood a poet named Cinna, who shares his name with one of Caesar's assassinators, is on the way to Caesar's funeral when he meets a mob enraged by Mark Antony's speech. What ordeal did Cinna face? Did he escape the mob unscathed, or was he hurled stones at? Let's find out more in the play. I'm sorry, Adarsh, you're muted.
Please unmute your device, Adarsh.
Yes, thank you.
No problem.
I dreamed last night that I feasted with Caesar, but unlucky signs overwhelmed my imagination. I have no desire to go outside, yet something leads me there.
You? What's your name?
Where are you going?
Where do you live?
Are you a married man or a bachelor?
Answer all of us now.
Yes, and be brief.
Yeah, and be wise.
Yes, and be truthful if you know what's good for you.
What is my name? Where am I going? Where do I live? Am I a married man or a bachelor? Then, to answer every man deeply, wisely, and truthfully, wisely, I say, I am a bachelor.
You imply that married men are fools then. You'll get a blow from me for that, you know. So go on with what you are saying. Right this instant.
Right this instant, I am going to Caesar's funeral.
As a friend or enemy?
As a friend.
Oh, he answered that question straight.
Oh, as for where you live, tell us quickly. Get to the point.
Getting right to the point, I live near the capital.
Tell us your name, sir. Truthfully.
Truthfully, my name is Cinna.
Tear me to pieces. He's a conspirator.
I'm Cinna the poet. I'm Cinna the poet.
Tear him up for his bad verses. Tear him up.
I'm not Cinna the conspirator.
It doesn't matter. His name's Cinna. Pull all but his name out of his heart and let him go.
Tear him, tear him. Come, fire brats, over here.
The Brutus, to pieces, burn them all.
Some of you go to Decius' house, and some to Cascus, and some with me to Ligarius. Go! Thank you.
A tense situation brews in the country of Rome. It ultimately transpires into a civil war. The supporters of Mark Antony push the conspirators out of Rome and give them a tough battle. Ultimately, they emerge victorious when Brutus ends up killing himself. Thank you.
Thank you. It's really an eye feast watching you all perform. Thank you, Vach. The purpose of Antony's speech in the next declamation is to instigate the mob against the conspirators by killing Caesar. Now, I would like to call Miss Lahari for the declamation of the funeral speech of Mark Antony, Act 3, Scene 2 from Julius Caesar.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is often tarred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus had told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault. And grievously had Caesar answered it, here under the leave of Brutus and all. For Brutus is an honorable man, so are they all honorable men. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He had brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Was this in Caesar's ambition? When that the poor have cried, Caesar had wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure he is an honorable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal I thrice presented him the kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure he is an honorable man. I speak not to disapprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without a cause. Then what cause withholds you then to mourn for him? O judgment, thou art fled with brutish beasts. Men have lost their reasons, bear with me. My heart is there in the coffin with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Lahari. In the comment sonnet, poet expresses his fear that the praise will be remembered merely as a poet's rage, that that gave the youth more beauty than any youth actually possessed. Now, I would like to call Miss Harshita for the recitation of Sonnet 17.
Who would believe my verse in time to come, if it were filled with most of your high deserts? Though yet heaven knows about it, but as a tomb, which hides your life and shows not half your part. If I could write the beauty of your eyes, and with fresh numbers number your grace, the age to come would say, this poet lies. Such heavenly touches never touch earthy faces. So, should I let my papers be yellowed with their age, be scrawled like an old man of less truth than tongue, and your true rights be termed a poet's rage, and stretched meter of an antique song? But were some child of yours alive that time, you should live twice, in it and in my rhyme. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harshita. In the next play, Shakespeare ultimately suggests that the kind of love that Romeo and Juliet feel leads lovers to enact a selfish isolation from the world around them. Let's invite students for enactment of Romeo and Juliet to take us to a romantic tale.
Romeo and Juliet begins as a chorus, introduces two feuding families of Verona. On one end is Romeo's family, while on other lies Juliet's. On a hot summer day, the young men of each faction fight until the Prince of Verona intercedes and threatens to banish them. Soon after, the head of Capulet family plans a feast. His goal is to introduce his daughter Juliet to a count named Paris, who seeks to marry Juliet. Romeo and his friends hear of the party and resolve to go in dispute. Romeo hopes to see his beloved Rosaline at the party. Instead, while there, he meets Juliet and falls instantly in love with her. Juliet's cousin, Tybalt, recognizes the boys and forces them to leave just as Romeo and Juliet discover one another. Let's check out how the story unfolds and how does the love unfold.
So, good evening, one and all. Now I'm going to perform the Romeo and Juliet. He just had scars that never felt a wound, but soft. What light through yonder window breaks? It's the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief. That though her maid art for more fair than she, but not her maid, since she's envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. So cast it off. It's my lady. It's my love. Oh, if she knew she were here, she speaks. Yes, sir, she said nothing. What of that? Her eyes discourse. I will answer it. I'm too bold. It's not to me she speaks. Yeah. Two of the fairest stars in all the heaven, having some business to enter her eyes, to twinkle in their splendors till they return. What if her eyes were there, they in her head, the brightness of her cheek would shine those stars. And as daylight through a lamp, her eyes in heaven would through the airy region stream so bright that birds would sing and think it over not a night. See how she leans her cheeks upon her hand. Oh, that I were a glove upon that hand. That I might touch that cheek.
Why me?
She speaks. She speaks. Bread angel, for thou art as glorious to this night, being o'er my head, as the winged messenger of heaven, under the wide, upturned wondering eyes of mortal that fall back to gaze on him, when he ties the lazy puffing clouds and sail upon the bosom of the air.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father, and refuse thy name. Or if they will not, be but sworn my love, and no longer be a Capulet.
Shall I hear more? Or shall I speak to this?
Oh, 'tis but thy name that's my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What a Montague? It's nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What in a name? That which we call a Romeo. By any other name would smell as sweet. So Romeo, were he not Romeo, retain that dear perfection which he owes without a title. Okay, it's Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name, which is no part of thee, take all myself.
I take thee at the word. Call me but love. I will be new baptized. Henceforth, I never will be Romeo.
What man or thou that be screaming in night, so stumblest on my counsel?
By a name, I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it's an enemy to thee. Had I returned, I would tear the world.
My ears have not drunk 100 words of that unutterance. I know the sound. Though not a Romeo and a Montague.
Neither of them met. If either of thee dislike.
How camest thou higher? Tell me, and wherefore the orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place dead considering who thou art, and if any of my kinsmen found thee here.
With love lights, wings did I pierce these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out. And what love can do, that dares love a tam. Therefore, the king's men are no stop to me.
Oh, if they do see thee, they will murder thee.
There lies more pearl in thine eye. That 20 of these walls look though but sweet, and I am proof against the enemy.
I would not for the world. They saw thee here.
I had night clocks to hide me from their sight, and but though love me, let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than death. Product, speaking of the love.
By whose direction foundest thou out this place?
By love, who first dare attempt me to inquire? He lent me counsel, and I lent him pies. I have no pilot, yet were though as far as the vast shore was with the farthest sea, I would adventure for such merchandise.
Though knowest the mask of night is on my face, else would a maiden blush be paint on my cheek. For that which has heard me speak tonight, fain would I dwell on form, fain deny. What?
spoke with farewell compliments. Those who love me, I know they will say A, and I will take thy word. And if thou swear, if thou mayest prove false, and love treasuries, they say love loves. Oh, gentle Romeo, if thou dost love, pronounce it faithfully. Or if thou thinkest that I'm to be one, have you frown and be premise, and say the name. So they built too, but else not for the world. In truth, fair Montague, I'm too fond, and therefore the mayest prove my behavior light. But trust me, gentlemen, I'll prove more true than those that have been more strange. I must confess that though over hadst array, this of my true love's passion. Therefore pardon me, and not impute this yielding to light love which the dark night has so discovered.
Lady, by yonder blessed moon I awoke, and that tips with silver all these fruit tree tops.
Swear not by the moon, the inconstant moon, the monthly changes in a circled ap, lest that thy love prove likewise variable.
Okay, thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That was a lovely performance. Shakespeare beautifully penned the tragedy Hamlet. In this speech, he is thinking his thoughts out loud on suicide, whether Hamlet should live or die, to be or not to be. Now, I would like to call Mr. Adarsh for the declamation of Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 2.
To be or not be? That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing, end them, to die, to sleep, no more, and by asleep, to say, we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. It is a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, proud man's contumely, pangs of disprized love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin? Who would fathers bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those ills that we know of than to fly to others that we know not of. And thus, conscience doth make cowards of us all. And thus, the native hue of resolution is sicklied over with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pith and moment. With this regard, their currents turn awry and lose the name of action. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adarsh. The coming sonnet attempts to define love by telling both what it is and is not. The speaker says that love, the marriage of true minds, is perfect and unchanging. It does not change when it finds the change in the loved one. I am now honored to call Professor Krishnaja for the recitation of Sonnet 116.
Thank you.
Sonnet 116. Let me not to the marriage of true minds. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when its alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it's an ever fixed mark that looks on tempest and is never shaken. It's the star to every wandering bark whose worth is unknown, although his height be taken. Love is not time's fool, though rosy lips, cheeks, within his bending sickle's combers come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never it, and no man ever loved. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. One of the Shakespeare's most famous sonnets is Sonnet 18. This is addressed to an unknown figure known by scholars as the fair youth. Ultimately, he goes on to explain that his beloved can be compared with summer day. Now, I'm honored to call Professor Prabhavati for the recitation of Sonnet 18.
Thank you. Sonnet 18. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's leaves hath all too short a day. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dim. And every face from face sometimes declines by chance or nature's changing force unfriend. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that faith thou wast. Eternal lines long lives.
Aditya?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we just lost our connection.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, yeah.
Aditya, please. Yeah.
Yes. Since there is a network issue, let's move on to the next one. Shakespeare uses Sonnet 104 to address the fair youth, who is throughout the text complimented on his beauty. He seems not to have aged the whole time the speaker has known him. All people's age and time move slowly that he just can't see it. Now, I would like to call Mr. Suman for the recitation of Sonnet 104.
Namaste to you all. I'm reciting Sonnet 104. To me, fair friend, you never can be whole. For as you were when first your eye eyed, such seems your beauty still, 3 winters cold. Have from the forehead soothed 3 summers pride, 3 beauteous springs to yellow autumn turn. In processes of the seasons have I seen 3 April perfumes in 3 hot burn. Since first I saw you fresh, which ate our green at the beauty like a tired hand. Still from his figure and no pace was seen, so your sweet hue, which methinks still doth stand, hath motion, and mine eye may be deceived, for fear of which, hear this, though edge and dread. Ere you were born was beauty's summer dead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Suman. Moving on to the next declamation. Jealous conspirators Cassius, Casca, and their allies planned false evidences and convinced Caesar's dear friend Brutus that Caesar was turning too autocratic and make him join their. Thank you, Miss Manya. Lady Macbeth was the driving force behind the plot to murder a king. She later overcomes with guilt and descends into madness. Her mental state at the end of the play is a somewhat shocking departure. Now, I would like to call Miss Anisha for the declamation of Lady Macbeth, Act 5, Scene 5.
O King Macbeth, a demon you became. Remember when we fell in deepest sleep? Oh, fie upon his go thee hence, Macbeth. You are a monster, lurking in the night. Now who's thy next victim, crew Macbeth? Oh, murder me. Oh, slit my damned throat. That was the killer, not the man I loved.
Act 4, Scene 1.
The quality of mercy is not strained. A droplet as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed, and it blesseth him that gives and him that takes. This mightiest in the mightiest, it becomes the throned monarch, better than his crown. His scepter shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty, wherein doth sit the dread and the fear of kings. But mercy is about the sceptred sway. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It is an attribute to God Himself. An earthly power doth then show like His gods, when mercy seasons justice. Therefore, Jill, though justice be thy plea, consider this, that in the course of justice none of us should see salvation. We do pray for mercy, and the same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. I have spoke thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea, which, if thou follow the strict code of Venice, must needs give a sentence against the merchants there. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Manya. Sonnet 104 is part of sequence of the Dark Lady sonnets. Scholars have attempted to use this sonnet to downplay Shakespeare's more romantic fair youth sonnets, and thus to downplay the homoerotic overtones of the fair youth sequence. Now, I would like to call Mr. Adarsh for the recitation of Sonnet 141. Adarsh, you're on mute.
I'm sorry. In faith, I do not love thee with mine eyes, for they in thee a thousand errors note. But 'tis my heart that loves you, for they despise, who, in despite of you, is pleased to dote. Nor are mine ears with thy tongue's tune delighted, nor tender feeling to base touches prone, nor taste nor smell desire to be invited to any feast with thee alone. But my wits, nor my five senses can dissuade one foolish heart from serving thee, who lives unswayed like the likeness of a man. thy proud heart slave and sole wretch to be. Only in my plague thus far I count my gain, that she makes me sin, awards me pain. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adarsh. Lancelot Gobbo, Shylock's servant, is an unthrifty knight. Lancelot is debating with himself whether he should remain in Shylock's service or not. Now, I would like to call Mr. Suman for the declamation of Lancelot Gobbo from Merchant of Venice.
I'm sure I will feel guilty if I run away from this Jew, my master. The devil on my shoulder tempting me. He's saying, go, go, Lancelot, go, go, good Lancelot, or good go, go, or good Lancelot, go, go. Use your legs and run away. My conscience says, no, Lancelot, calm down, don't run away. The devil urging me to leave. Go away, he says, run away. Be tough, says the devil, and run. But then my conscience hanging around my heart say very wisely to me, my good friends Lancelot, you are a good boy, the son of an honest man. Really, that should be son of an honest woman. Since my father cheated on my mother, anyway, my conscience says, stay put, go. The devil says, don't go, says my conscience. Conscience, I say, you give good advice. Devil, I say, you give good advice. If I listen to my conscience, I stay with my Jew, my master, who's a devil. But if I run away from the Jew, I'll be following the advice of my own devil, who is a very devil himself. Certainly, the Jew is a very devil incarnate, and my conscience is giving me a hard time by telling me to stay with me, Jew. The devil advice is nicer. I will run, devil. Tell me to run. I will run. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Suman. 3,000 ducats borrowed from Shylock, Bassanio makes the journey from Venice to Belmont in order to win the hand of the very wealthy Portia. However, Bassanio must win her by strange means, a choice between three caskets. Now, I would like to call Miss Harshita for the declamation of Bassanio's speech, Merchant of Venice, Act 3, Scene 2.
Appearance may be deceiving. The world is always deceived by beauty. In court, when a false claim is made, but being spoken by a charming person hides the evil behind it. In religion, when a mortal sin is committed, but a clergyman blesses it and supports it with a Bible verse, hides the wrongdoing with a holy appearance. No matter how small the vice, they all take an outward appearance of virtue. How many cowards whose hearts are all as weak as tears made from sand on their face, the beards of heroes and gods, when on inside they are gutless weaklings. And these people put on a facial hair to make themselves look fearsome and revered. Look at beauty. You see, cosmetics can be bought by ounces, which makes a miracle of ugliness, turning people promiscuous who wear most of it. Same as the beautiful tightly curled hair that flows gently in the breeze, often known to be beautiful but not commonly known as a gifted wig, taken from head of someone else, a dead person who grew in a tomb. So, you, extravagant gold, put off my dust. I'll have nothing to do with you. Nor nothing to do with you, pale common messenger between two men. But you, the most humble lid, which is rather threatening than promising. Your paleness moves me more than I can express in words. So here I choose. May happiness be my outcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harshita. Antony wants to be remembered as a powerful, honorable Roman man. Cleopatra is moved by her love for Antony and is determined to end her own life now. Cleopatra and Antony's love appears to be genuine in the end. I'm honored to call Dr. Limit Thomas for the declamation of Antony and Cleopatra, Act 4, Scene 15.
Thank you so much. In this particular scene, Antony lies dead in front of Cleopatra. So, as she said, it's from Act 4, Scene 15. No more, but even a woman, and commanded by such poor passion as the maid that breath milk, and as the meanest chase. If it were for me to throw my sceptre the injurious gods, to tell them that this world did equal theirs until they had stolen our jewel, all's but not. Patience is sottish, and impatience just become a dog that's mad. Then, is it sin to rush into the secret house of death, or death dare to come to us? How do you, women, what, could she? How now, Janet? My noble girls? Ah, women, look, a lamp is spent, it's out. Good sirs, take heart, we'll bury him. And then, what's noble? Let's do it in high Roman fashion and make it proud to take us. Come away. This case of that huge spirit is now cold. Ah, women, we have no friend, but resolution and the briefest end. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to call Lahri for the next sonnet.
Sonnet 138. When my love swears that she is made of truth. When my love swears that she is made of truth, I do believe her, though I know she lies, that she might think me some untutored youth, unlearned in the world's false subtleties, thus vainly thinking that she thinks me young, although she knows that past my days are the best. Simply I credit her the false speaking tongue. On both sides thus a simple truth suppressed. Wherefore say she is not young, and wherefore say I that I am old? O love's best habit is in seeming trust, and age on age loves not to have told ears. Therefore I lie with her, and she with me, and in our false lies we flattered be. Thank you.
Thank you, Lahari. Finally, we would like to hand over the stage to Mr. Himan Mandal, Joint Secretary of Literary and Debate Club, for the vote of thanks.
Thank you. Wash hands like Lady Macbeth. Seclude yourself like Miss Havisham. Postpone your tasks like Hamlet. Eat like Falstaff. Wear masks like Benedict. Be proud like Darcy and avoid dancing with ladies. Don't touch or steal others' kerchiefs like Iago. Unlike Romeo, avoid meeting Juliets who wait in the balconies. Let them wait till tomorrow. Don't wander around like Ulysses. Be wise like Beatrice. Let the west wind blow. Listen to nightingales. Admire daffodils. Honorable Registrar, respected department heads, faculty, and our most valuable invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I feel honored and proud to have the opportunity to present a vote of thanks. I, Riman Mandal, Joint Secretary of Literary and Debate Club, on behalf of the entire club, let me call it a fraternity here, together extend a hearty vote of thanks to all the participants for your wonderful and delightful performances. I also extend my thanks to Ms. Adviti Reddy and Ms. Tishita for their hosting. I'm thankful to all the attendees for coming here and attending this event to make a grand success. I take this occurrence to thank the entire committee as well, as the audience for representing themselves for the entire program. I must remark a proficient sense of grateful to all our guests. I want to extend my generous thanks to the entire staff who has come for their support and cooperation. I thank our faculty advisor, Dr. Soumya Jose and Dr. Lynette from the Department of English for their leading supervision, constant support, and for being a guide and inspiration, and for holding our hands at every step. I also thank Deepika ma'am for streaming the entire event live on YouTube. Also, I would like to thank the team of Literary and Debate Club, without whom the club would just be a name. Special thanks to the social media team for working relentlessly to successfully promote the event and help build all the designs and the teaser. A huge shout out to the page. Follow us on the Instagram at LND_NIT answer. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to express my profound gratefulness to all the attendees. We thank you for being with us this evening. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe. With this, I'm very happy to wind up the session. Hope everyone enjoyed the event. Thank you.